Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Handegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Mike Anderson Seafood. Wesley at Nicholson, welcome to the Tuesday edition Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Handegriff, Jimmy Ott, Max Gotro, Jordan Kinchin's back in the studio. Andy Isco with us today, A. Seminaro with us today. We do first class, second class, no class today. And we would love to see you here at Mike Anderson's right here in the Oyster Bar, in the bar area. As soon as you come into the restaurant, right here to your right, in front of the iconic fish tank here at Mike Anderson's. Jimmy, good morning.
You look great in front of the fish tank, Charlie.
We do, yeah. It's
yes.
a nice backdrop for us here at Mike Anderson. We start with college basketball. It was a pair of ranked games last night, a doubleheader, North Carolina, Louisville, and Kansas and Houston. North Carolina got a nice win. They are still without their star Caleb Williams, although the optimism to get him back before the end of the regular season, they're kind of targeting that game against Duke, the regular season finale on March the 7th as a return for him, would make all the difference for North Carolina in the postseason. But they got the win last night against Louisville despite being a home underdog by 3. And in Lawrence, Kansas, the JayHawks stave off what would have been back-to-back losses at home for the first time in over 30 years, and deal Houston their third straight loss. All of those games have been hard, but the Houston Cougars have now lost 3 straight, going to Iowa State, and then the sandwich game on Saturday against Arizona, and now last night. But if you'd asked me yesterday at this time what I wanted to see in these games, like, all right, whoever wins, wins. These are all tournament teams. These are all teams with big aspirations. I just want to see, hey, how much is Darryn Peterson going to play? The Kansas star, mercurial as he is, has been the talk of a lot of speculation, not the least of which is from his coach. Says, you want to change the narrative, you got to start finishing games. So 2 things happened last night, Jimmy. Kansas got 30 minutes out of Darryn Peterson, and the officials maybe got a little whistle happy with him in the first half of this game.
Yeah, for his second foul, he picked up 2 fouls in like the first 10 minutes, sat out for a little bit, returned and did finish the second half, but kind of led to his choppiness in the first half. He was not so bad. Now Houston's defense will do that to you as well, but it affected his rhythm, and it was as if the officials are piling on the whole Darryn Peterson bash club. And look, he's brought it all on himself. He and his camp, but I mean he's making a move, and there's some contact that where the defender reaches in, he doesn't push off at all. It was totally made up. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't go more nuts than he did, but it was still relatively early. When Houston was building as much as a 7-point lead in the first half, and they went on like an 11-0 run to end the first half to make it 31-27, and then it was all Kansas in the second half. 41-0 on Big Monday for Bill Self. Yeah, I tried to buck that trend in Otterlocks last night, but he could have really complained and threw a fit way more than he did with this call. The other personal foul was kind of marginal as well. So he's going to the bench for 2 fouls that, like, man, it's almost like they're testing this guy or something. But anyway, he goes to the bench, and it was an okay night. It was nothing tremendous. It was nothing embarrassing, but far from what you would think is his level that has elevated him to, clear number 1 on the talent board for the draft. But Houston's got problems themselves as well. And I just wonder, now we know it's the lowest field goal percentage of the year for them. We know that it's the lowest point production for them this year, 56. And this has been a season this year when I've talked about them, where they're improved on offense. Fleming's he can score all over the court. I mean, he's got unbelievable shooting. And they got Uzan and Sharp back, who were, 40% three-point shooters last year. They're not shooting at that level right now. And the other thing is, Sinak Jr., the former Newman player, the 6'10 kid, 6'11", 6'10", kind of little bit too much face the basket from the perimeter shooting. He shot, he was 4 of 13 last night, and that's a couple of dunks in there. So just way too much of him early in the shot clock, almost by design. It's almost as if they're letting him showcase his skills for the next level, and that is totally unusual for Shelton. You said sandwich game. It's not. It wasn't like a letdown, emotional height ending. No. So, but these three games are kind of synonymous. This is kind of common in the Big 12 right now. The big boys in the Big 12, I don't know if it's by design or not, are it's all stacked late. With BYU and Houston and Iowa State and Kansas, Arizona, they're all playing each other a lot late. So,
and Houston's done with that. They've had 4 of those games in the last 6. And they finished with 3 at the bottom of the Big 12. So they're holding on a 2-line right now. Lenardi had them on a 2-line this morning. They're holding there. They should be able to hold that through the end of the regular season.
I thought it was just a tough luck loss in Ames. We know how brutal that is to play. Iowa State is good. This is the best team that Otzelberger has had there, and they're a threat to make a run to the Final Four. But Houston, blew the 10-point lead pretty late in the game. I mean, they stole it from them there. Arizona, I got no excuses for that. You don't have Pete, and you come out really flat and fall behind, but they just can't score. They can't score. So their defense, they gave up some on their defense a little bit to gain on their offense. So they're playing a little looser than usual, more potent on offense, not as stingy on defense. Now they've hit a low spot offensively where their defense is still not as suffocating as it was last night. I want to put the body language with Peterson, it's as if he's heard the noise now. It's as if,
he would have to be in a cave not to.
This might even be a buy low spot on him. You could have got plus $4.50, plus $5 on DeBonsa. Mm-hmm. Now I think this might be a low spot for Peterson. He might be
as the number 1 pick in the draft.
That's a bet, and that's
you can make that bet right now.
Absolutely,
that's on the board.
Minus 125.
All right.
Yeah, so it's available now, and I think that might be a low spot. Now, listen, everybody's piled on it. People want to bet what they want to, and he has brought it all on himself. But maybe his camp, maybe he has. And listen, you don't have his skill level as a true freshman if you haven't worked on your game.
Yeah.
So don't throw it away. So, it's even like I said yesterday, one guy from the Athletic was reporting that he thinks the injuries are legitimate. There's an effort there to try and play. He could easily just call it quits for them. And listen, he's at an all-in fan base and basketball community. You play for them, they're gonna be there for you all. And you don't, they're gonna let you know about it.
I understand how a lot of people here feel about Dick Vitale's opinion these days, given how he reacted to Will Wade. But when's the last time you heard him criticize Kansas about anything? I mean, when they had level 1 violations, nothing. When they recruited Lester early, nothing. Okay, this was his tweet before yesterday. Well, this was actually Sunday, I think. Says, sometimes a divorce is good for everyone involved, and I firmly believe that needs to happen between Kansas Hoops and Darryn Peterson. The soap opera needs to end. So sad because his talent is off the charts. Now, when you've lost Vitale, who's arguably the most positive person, especially when it comes to Kansas, Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, etc., you've really gotten everybody's attention. And Bill Self, in a press conference, said, "You want to change the narrative? Finish these games." I think Peterson's an unbelievable talent.
I disagree with that.
Which part?
Just separate for him. Separate, from him.
Oh, Vitale's thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not going to happen. They're not going to cut him.
Let me tell you, the metrics, and look, everybody's like, oh, you played a lot less. We played more Saturday, and they got their ass worked. Run. And mostly, when they separated, he was on the floor. Because I was documenting during the game, I was watching over at the Queen, and I was documenting, okay, they're tied at half. He's played half the minutes. He played basically the whole second half when Cincinnati took a game that was even and won by 16. Okay, so they don't do plus minuses are hard to find in college. Again, last night they're up when when we went to the bench, they made a run. Okay, they were down 7 when he went to the bench. He comes back, they're tied, and then they go to a 4-point lead. The point is, he's playing, so they in the metrics, depending on who you talk to, but they showed some last night, barely better with him in there, and some others talk about that their metrics, their efficiency and everything is better without him. Basically, they're really, really close, all right? You've gotten bigger efforts, some at home, when he's decided to sit, most notably the Arizona game. But if you think the team, that's when that Fog Allen crowd is all in. You ain't playing tournament games with that crowd. And you need that guy's talent. This is a deep field. And I'm sorry, they might make a run. They might get to the Final Four, but their chances are way better with Peterson involved. And he may have heard the noise, and you may see this and get 30 to 34 minutes out of him and get a guy when he totally made up a foul against him, and he handled it as maturely as possible.
His college career's got, 8, 10 games left, and that's if they make a deep run. So he's got an opportunity to change the narrative. And I think that the metrics on this thing are –
It's not too late.
It's not too late.
No.
The metrics on this thing are mostly skewed by the fact that Self's had to guess, okay? If he knows he's got Peterson, then he knows how to game plan it. If he doesn't have Peterson, he knows how to game plan it. The guy's a great coach. What he doesn't know is if he's got Peterson for half the game and then the guy checks himself out, well, that to me, that's a heck of a curveball to be thrown as a coach. If you are 30 minutes to tip, 45 minutes to tip, and you find out you don't have him, or you're 3 minutes to go out for the second half, hey guys, come on, 5 minutes to go out to warm up for the second half. We don't know if we got him. Well, I don't know how any coach can really handle that really well. That's hard.
No. Self, Vital, maybe Self is not enjoying this.
No.
Self is, but Self might have turned a corner. But now, he played 34 minutes Saturday. And how did they? Well, that's obviously a team that in the crowd that gets up for the bigger games. They're better against the better the team, the better they are in their building.
Big Monday.
Big
Monday record.
In a big way. But Charlie, there might be a case where Self is going through the toughest part. Why give up now?
Right.
That's easy for Vital to say, man, you had been.
Sure.
If I was going to launch him, I'd have launched him before. You had to see that made up call, and you had to see, and he just played. He just played, and he just, he didn't get overly excited. He didn't get overly down. He just played, and it's not too late. And if the agent, from the agent's perspective, and I don't know who it is, and the agent's active to the college athletes are new. So everybody's kind of figuring out their best style as well. But you don't want to go down on your resume that your involvement probably cost this kid the number one spot. It's very important here on out. And if you're just a model teammate and you play the rest of the way, you're probably going to be number one.
Yeah.
And if you my agency, Hot and Handy Agency, sports agency, we don't want we want Darryn Peterson. We've represented him. He's the number one pick. We don't want it known. Oh no, well your guys' advice and leadership cost this guy the number one spot.
Because there are options at the top of the draft this year. There are years where he would be the number one pick by a mile. He could sit out the whole season. This is not one of those years. Now, he's not going to fall far. Worst case scenario would be probably third. But there is an alternative for other teams. If he turns them off enough, you could go take DeBoncha or Boozer, and nobody's going to say, well, gosh, you're really reaching.
And Acuff is not quite there, but he played 50 minutes in that maybe the game of the year at Tuscaloosa.
And Acuff's going to be a top.
I guess he'd have played
7,
55
8,
if he'd have made the last shot. I mean,
Did he look like he was coming out of the
No,
game?
he didn't.
We're going to pry that guy out of the game.
But the load management, this guy's, he can't scrape him off the court.
Load management. What a dirty phrase. We're here at Mike Anderson Seafood, right here in the Oyster Bar.
Man, I was with a buddy over here. He was looking at got a big retirement party coming up for his employee of 33 years driving for his company, and man, about 150, 200 people on the side porch in May. You talk about, and we had one of our wedding parties out there. We've been out there before, Charlie, when they've introduced new coaches to LSU, when they kind of meet the media. So it's that time of the year, man. It's all set up for crawfish boils or just for any type of reception. So, call our catering and make sure you talk to our event manager or catering manager when you come over here, or you call us up and we will kind of get to the options and the availability in your hands. We've got that private room as well where Gordy did his chalk talk over there. So, and it kind of spills into each other. And I was over here we're doing crawfish. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Over here at Mike Anderson's, we are doing them this season. And I was over here Sunday, Charlie, and they are really good. So, man, it's hopping over here for the Lenten season over here at Mike Anderson's.
Live at Mike Anderson's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. New Handycast up, recapping this past weekend in college baseball with Dan Canterbury. That's up on YouTube. It's brought to you by Supreme Rice, celebrating their 90th year in business here in 2026. Supporting our Louisiana farmers, go to SupremeRice.com. 3 games in the league tonight, and we're starting to be more conscious of the bubble here as we get down the last 2 weeks of the regular season. And there's two teams tonight in the SEC that kind of sort of fit. They're on opposite ends of the spectrum. Right now, the latest bracketology has Missouri as one of the last 4 in.
It's a little bit of a surprise.
Because the NET is 60. Mm-hmm. And they are at home against Tennessee tonight. They're a small underdog, 3.5 points. But Missouri with a chance to get a really impactful quad 1 win tonight against Tennessee. Ordinarily 60 is outside the bubble, Jimmy, but it's not in the case of Missouri. And it's not strength of schedule because that's down in the 90s. Their Q1 and Q2 record is okay. It's 4-5 against Q1, 4-4 against Q2. So why
got some good wins.
Okay.
As Florida continues, and Florida, I think Florida's on their way to a number 1 seed.
That's one of the best wins on the board right now.
They went to Rupp and beat Kentucky, and then Kentucky, for their standards, is struggling. I thought Kentucky was living on borrowed time when they were, like winning Baton Rouge. All you need to know, they had a few of those, but they do have one in Rupp, and they got one against Vanderbilt. The
Vanderbilt and A&M games, they both won by a point. That's how close.
At A&M, though.
At A&M, they won by a point, and at home against Vandy, they won by a point. You're right. That's what's got them in right now. And no bad I said no bad losses. You would say, well, the LSU loss is a bad loss. It's a Q1 loss, hard as that is to believe. I know. I know.
So, whatever. Nobody's giving them, any credit for playing LSU close.
No, but it's not a Q. You would think it'd be a Q2 or Q3 loss, and it's not. It's a Q1 loss. So it doesn't hurt. It's not quite as bad as you would think on paper.
That's not the most important things. The team, the wins against Florida at Kentucky are way more important than a close loss at LSU, whether it's Q1 or Q2. But they are clearly in a bubble with their NET, and you know what? Because Lenardi has them in doesn't mean that if you're projecting right now with the selection committee that they would. So it is a soft bubble though. So man, any type of wins, but they and Auburn are clearly on the bubble. Clearly on the bubble. And then you catch Tennessee. With Tennessee, a couple of things in that game Saturday night at Memorial Coliseum in Nashville caught me by surprise. First of all, they won where they traditionally struggle. They struggle. The other thing, okay, that's one thing for 5 years ago when they're playing a football game and they got 80% of the crowd is theirs. They had more people there than Vandy. You could hear it clearly on the broadcast. It was unreal. So I found that I couldn't believe that. Vandy's good this year. They're on their way to the tournament. Now, they're on a slide since they were undefeated and 3-0 in the league. They're one game under 500 and in like 7-8 or something, or they're 6-7 the rest of the way. 5-6, whatever. One game below 500 their last 11. So Vanderbilt, I think they might be catching Tennessee at a good time. The 1 point win against Vanderbilt, they led by double digits for most of it. But no, this is a big one for Missouri at home tonight.
Their last 4 games, the 2 good teams that they play both at home, Tennessee and Arkansas. The 2 bottom of the league teams that they play, Mississippi State and Oklahoma, they play both on the road. So you got an opportunity here to play yourself into the tournament. I think Missouri still controls their own destiny here with 4 games to go. Be a big one tonight. Plus 3.5 at home, given the stakes of the game, is pretty tempting to me. We'll see how you feel about it when we get to some of the picks later on. And then Auburn, whose NET is fine at 34, but the conference record is 6-8. The Q1 record is 5-10. They got one thing going for them more than anybody else in the country. That SOS. That strength of schedule, big old number 1 right next to it. Yeah, the number 1
Bruce Pearl's schedule tough, huh?
The number 1 overall strength of schedule. Yeah, this is
Bruce Pearl's schedule.
Yes,
obviously.
It is. And I'll just read you the non-conference schedule: Michigan, Arizona, Purdue, Houston. I mean, that could be a Final Four, right?
Well, they played in that Vegas tournament, for a big chunk of those.
I mean, even the second tier: St. John's, NC State, Oregon, who's not very good this year, but is still a power team.
Man.
Yeah, I mean,
right, yeah.
It is.
Well, Oregon won that tournament last year.
That's right.
In Las Vegas. So as that has kind of passed up the Maui Classic as a premier, early season conference. Man, look, they got one of the best wins in all of college basketball this year at Gainesville. And not close. They went by 9 in Gainesville, and that was in the middle of a 4-game winning streak. Then they lose 5 in a row, including at Mississippi State. And it's just, Vandy at home, and they were really non-competitive in that 8-point loss. The Alabama game, where, that's a rivalry game at home. Your crowd is – it was just, okay, they're on the bubble. And they were desperate on Saturday. Did you see the end when Mark Pope was all bent out of shape?
I saw
he kind of hot mic got him at the end.
Yeah, I did.
But the deal is they end up with a layup at the buzzer to win 75-74. 2 of those this past week. Yep. UCLA against Illinois, both at home, and Auburn against Kentucky. So it was a missed layup that was blocked. That was gathered by Elijah Freeman, who put it back up and in. So for the game-winning buckets, really tough loss for Kentucky, and now they're on a little bit of a losing streak. They were on a winning streak, but Auburn had to have it. They had to have it to keep from really sliding out of this tournament.
And I think this is, for Auburn, if you can get this one, okay, your next 2 games are Ole Miss and LSU at home. you should win those 2 games. Nothing's a gimme, but you should win those 2 games. And then nobody's going to dock you very hard if you lose at Alabama in the last game of the regular season. So if they were to win tonight, I would feel it would almost be screw-up proof. They'd almost have to lose both games to Ole Miss and LSU.
This ain't going to be easy.
No, it's not going to be easy because Oklahoma won at Vandy three times back. They gave A&M all they wanted on Saturday on the road.
Role reversal for them Saturday against A&M because they had these double-digit leads at home against Alabama, against Texas, and they lost close games. This one they fell behind double digits and raced back, and then it was tight at the end, but eventually they lost. So kind of a role reversal for them.
This is a Q2, Q3 borderline with Oklahoma. So if you lose this game and Oklahoma ends up putting you in Q3, it's a bad loss. This one's crucial tonight, I think, for Auburn.
At Oklahoma is Q2 or Q3, and at LSU is Q1?
Don't kill the messenger, man.
that can't be. That when the season's done, that can't be the case, huh?
I don't know, man. We only got 4 games left. How much, how much can you influence your grade point average when 80% of your grades or 85% of your grades are already in?
At Oklahoma.
I'm sorry, Mac. Go ahead.
At Oklahoma's quad 1 right now.
I'm sorry, quad 1, quad 2, I said.
You said quad 2, quad 3.
Yeah, quad 1, quad 2. 75 is the cutoff.
That makes a little better
They're
sense.
at 71.
They're only like 5 apart in NET.
Yeah, LSU
Yeah.
67,
Yeah.
Oklahoma 71. So
Yeah,
it's a
67,
similar loss.
75 is the cutoff.
Yeah.
There we go. So we're trying to get to quad 2 material, huh? Is that a goal? Is that a mini goal? No. Anyway, don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings. 296-0060, full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Marion Haynes, Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Heading out to Las Vegas, deep in the desert, lives one man. One man of many sports bets. The one and only Andy Isco.
Back here at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch.
Andy, how you doing, buddy?
Jimmy, I'm doing fine. Hopefully all you folks are as well. At least you don't have any snow to deal with from the Northeast. But
no kidding.
Looking forward to the last few games of the season. And I don't know, are you concerned about Houston and their grip on a number 1 seed with 3 losses to 3 teams that they could meet in the Elite 8 or better?
I'm just worried about their team a little bit more, Andy, because they have clearly started to kind of hit a wall offensively, and I'm wondering about a little bit too much of the showcasing of the freshman Snack. His shot total is a little bit too high for my liking, especially early in the shot.
2 for 14 from 3 his last 3 games.
2 for 14 from 3.
Yeah.
And what was he from the floor last night?
From the floor, he was a little bit better. I'll get it for you in a second.
Yeah. I'm definitely worried about them. I identified with this team that was not as good defensively as they've been every year, which was a given for how long, and in a team that had more firepower. And I thought that. What was it, Charlie?
4 of 13.
4 of 13 from the. Yeah, that's just too much.
And
man.
it's a 3-point shooter. He's 33% for the season. So that's not a guy you want shooting a ton of threes.
That's not bad, but it's just early. You know, when you don't have anything else, it's a lot of perimeter shots. I want him down low. He's been is a force on the boards for them. But anyway, so yeah, I'm worried. What about you? I mean, look, Kelvin Sampson has set a high standard. The other thing is, it seems like in an era where a lot of coaches are afraid to coach their players for fear that they may leave, whether it's in season or right after the season, that he has established a culture where when the players interviewed, that's why we came here. We want to be coached. We want to get we want a guy to coach us. So I just wonder if it's even the halftime interview after we just we're down 4. I mean, we're down 4 or 7, whatever it was at halftime. Let's say we're in the game. We're okay. We're just going to knock down some shots. I'm like, man, y'all look bad out there. So, yeah, I'm a little bit worried.
I don't know that they can get a number 1 seed unless they win the Big 12.
They don't have enough big wins left.
Yeah, there's not anything left on the regular season schedule. You're half game back at Iowa State. Iowa State's got to play another game. Iowa State holds a tiebreaker on you, and that's just one of the teams. I mean, if we consider Duke, Michigan, and Arizona are locks, you've got Florida in there, you've got Illinois in there, you've got Gonzaga in there, you've got Purdue in there. Andy, I think there's probably too many teams for them to climb over with what they got left on the schedule unless they win the Big 12 tournament.
You win a Big 12 tournament, though.
No, if you do that, then
you're
going
to get a strong consideration. That's going to be a tough tournament to win.
I keep taking a look and why St. John's is not getting more credit than perhaps their play has shown over the last month or so. They still consider UConn a more likely number 1 seed. I'm not sure that either one of them gets it right now. Illinois has been a little bit of a disappointment down the stretch. They were playing really well in the late January, early February. They seem to have declined a little bit, but I think that's not unusual for every team to have their peaks and valleys, and you really want to see how they end the regular season heading into the conference tournaments, because a lot of these teams, and we've seen it in the past, they'll win 1, maybe 2 games and then sit out the final game, especially for the major conferences who, play their championship conference game on the Saturday and Sunday when the selections are being made. So I'm looking at this time of the year for teams that are playing some of their best basketball, and I'll be interested in a couple of games tonight, for example. Texas Tech getting Cincinnati off Cincinnati's huge upset win, that wire-to-wire double-digit win as a double-digit dog at Kansas. Texas Tech has answered a few questions with Top and Out. They beat some weaker teams, but I think this is a good spot for Texas Tech to continue to prove to the committee that, hey, look where you've dropped us in the ratings, and yet we've come back and we played a couple of really good games, albeit against lesser competition, but still conference foes. There's that familiarity. So I'd like to see Texas Tech put in a good effort tonight. And the same thing for Virginia. Now, the thing about Virginia is they're catching North Carolina rested, NC State rested, after their big win over North Carolina, which was a week ago already. So they've had plenty of time to, come down from the great high that they had after last week. At the same time, Virginia is only a half game behind Duke they're a game behind, and they meet, I think, on Saturday at Duke. So it could be a little bit of a look-ahead situation, but this Virginia team just seems so nicely balanced, so nicely coached that I could see them saying and taking the approach that, you know what, yeah, we're going to worry about Duke later, but we want to be in full confidence, good form when we do take them on Saturday.
St. John's is being penalized by their conference, and the Big East is really, really down. So this 13-game winning streak, the one really respectful win is against Connecticut on that Friday night game in the Garden. Now, they did go to Villanova and win, and Villanova's probably going to be a tournament team, but they're not close. I mean, they scheduled fairly, Auburn, Alabama, they lost to both of those, and then they played at Kentucky. Ole Miss is terrible this year, so they don't get any credit for that. What you think you get, Baylor, not nearly as good as they usually are. They're at the bottom of the Big 12. So, I mean, they're 23 NET.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that the teams they scheduled and did not, were able to beat were not as good as they were expected to be coming into the season. And unfortunately, there's nothing they can do there. I'm just taking a look at the gap that the committee has with them. And I think right now I've got St. John's. Most people have St. John's bracketed as a 4 or 5 seed, which is not significantly different because it does mean that after your first game, you face whoever the top seed is in your region.
Right. Yeah. I think they're a 4 right now. Maybe even a 3 if they just keep winning. I mean, but again, that's with the player budget, okay, and paying the players now. The Big East, none of these schools have football. None of them have football money in their overall athletic department.
Most of them are relatively small schools in terms of enrollment compared to the majors.
I don't know. I mean, Georgetown just moved to like Division 1 or FCS in football, and that's about it. Villanova has always been FCS, but I mean it's they don't have. I mean, it's a basketball league. It's a basketball league.
Yeah.
So it seems like Creighton, not close to where they've been. I mean, not close to where, where they've been for so many years. And we kind of saw this coming.
Butler and Xavier are not at their usual standards.
No, not close. Not close.
Yeah.
Not Seton Hall is, is as good as Shaheen Holloway's doing. I mean, they have a DePaul's improved, but still, I mean, Cooley, year 2 or 3 at Georgetown? It's minimal progress.
Providence has really dropped down as well.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you get a lot of good programs, not close to what they've been over the years. I know you were time challenged more than us, and this is where the East Coast had the best advantage of the gold medal game in Milan on Sunday morning. So 5 a.m. puck drop for you. Is it? There was some reports that the sports books were pretty full for the game, not nearly like they were on the East Coast, but still.
I wasn't, but from people I spoke to, the majority of people who are sports fans and bettors watched the game. There's a question whether they watched it from home or at the sports book. And, this is a whole different era now. You don't have to be at the sports book to bet with all the apps that you have. So a lot of people said, you know what, it's going to be in the morning. Let me enjoy my coffee at home and watch the game and then go about my day, because there wasn't really all that much to watch later. I mean, there were a couple of decent basketball games, but clearly the hockey was the draw for Sunday.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Well, how do you put it in its historical perspective?
Well, it is the first time that the USA won a gold medal outside of the USA, so that's a very impressive accomplishment. The fact that both the men and the women's team won in the same year, that's a very impressive accomplishment. So I think that there's a lot to be said. And, of course, we've seen over the last several decades more and more American players are making stars of themselves in the NHL. You go back to 1980, and I would say that the NHL was probably 80 or 85% Canadian, and it's a lot more balanced than that these days. And of course, then again, you add in the great addition of the foreign players, of the European players especially, and the hockey has become a top-notch, well-played sport that it's still number 4 amongst the Americans as far as the major sports go, but it's. I've always enjoyed hockey from way back my days in New York.
It was fun. And it was an upset. It's not nearly the upset, back in 1980, obviously. And there were so many differences, okay?
Well,
we don't hate Canada like we did the Soviet Union back in that day.
What people don't remember about the Miracle on Ice, the Miracle on Ice was on a Friday night in the semifinals against the Russians. That was not the gold medal game. They beat Finland 2 days later to win the gold, and they had to come from behind. They were down 2-1 in the third period, scored 3 goals and won. But, the Miracle on Ice was not for the gold medal. People, I don't think, remember that or didn't know that for a lot of folks.
Yeah, I passed that along on Friday. I remember it pretty good. But, when I was 13 years old, but I certainly remember. And it fell that way because it was sort of a pool play, but it fell that was for the gold medal. Now, the loser wasn't guaranteed the silver. And I don't think
it was a points deal.
Sweden was involved,
and they put that game in the afternoons because they expected. I kind of read a little bit about the TV history of this. They expected that game to be between the Soviets and somebody that they would blow out. They didn't want that game in prime time. Nobody expected the Americans to be there, much less win it. And I was wondering also about how you would have laid odds on that, how big an underdog the Americans were, because nobody really got to see that Soviet team play that much. Most of their stuff was behind the Iron Curtain. They'd play in some international tournaments, and they played against the NHL All-Stars.
They were saying something like 10 to 15 to 1.
Yeah, but you didn't get to see them that much.
Didn't Russia beat the U.S. like 10-1 in an exhibition a few weeks earlier?
Yes, at Madison Square Garden. It was like
9-2.
I think it was 10-3, but it was right before the game started. It was at
like
Madison
a week
Square
or two.
Garden.
Yeah.
And nobody got to see. Every one of those Russian players would have been in the NHL had they been eligible. So they were playing at a level that, but nobody got to see them play.
It was amateurs against professionals is really what it was.
But the Canadians were a favorite, and they were much more of a favorite than the closing line, because if you talk to the sports books, they got smoked on this. Johnny Avello from DraftKings said that they took 4-1 tickets. I mean, over 80% on U.S. My people in the U.S. go bet on the U.S. I mean, they got a chance, and they did, but it probably should have been like $1.80, something like that. Then closing at basically 120 or almost a pick 'em along the way. And the Canadians should have won.
it was basically an NHL All-Star game.
Oh, but at an NHL All-Star roster,
at a higher level,
but much more competitive environment.
Yes.
And hockey's got it right now with the 4 nations and with the Olympics. They got it because there was the NBA All-Star Game tried to mimic the NHL All-Star Game. The NHL All-Star game still sucks. It still sucks, okay? This country versus country, and maybe that's the next step. Heck with it. No, let's play 4 quarters, USA versus the world.
That's what I want.
Okay,
because the world would be favored.
Well,
you give me a Giannis, Victor, Joker, SGA,
Charlie
and
had
Luka.
them, and they went 0-2. So I mean, they should have won. But I mean, it's like
you give me those 5 guys. You tell me 5 Americans that'd be favored against them.
They're deeper. The Americans are deeper.
Okay,
they are deeper, and they just won. So I mean, it's just a 12-minute game, but the world did go 0-2.
I'll take those 5 guys against any 5 in the world.
Well, but that's the next step for that. To me,
that's what I think.
To me,
that's what I think.
Andy, follow Andy on Twitter at VegasAndy711. Man, any picks before we let you go, Andy, in college hoops tonight?
Well, I'm going to go with the 2 that I mentioned earlier. I'm going to lay the numbers with Texas Tech and Virginia.
Okay. Yeah, Virginia really, it might be a mad matchup for Willie Wade and the NC State Wolfpack. They just got smoked in that game. Remember that 10 a.m. early tip one Saturday about a month ago. Follow Andy on Twitter, again, at VegasAndy711. He's with us every Tuesday. Thank you, Andy. Good luck to you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
All right, don't forget our friends at Total Maintenance. Total Maintenance at 480-1000. This is the last little cold spell. So, again, we're about to get into those springtime temperatures, and then we'll get into – Charlie predicted summer is coming later. He predicted spring to happen before summer, but he did say summer is going to come, and that's when we're really going to work those units. If your unit is over 10 years old, if it was serviced over the summer, just give us a call at 480-1000. We'll come out and give you a full evaluation, give you your options of what you can do. But right now is the time where you got up to $5,500 in rebates and discounts on some select units. We are authorized dealers for Carrier, American Standard, Dakin, and Rheem products, the ductwork, and all of that stuff. You can really save yourself some money now before we are really stressed with our roofing. And we have the new inventory. Brand new units, just need to make room for them to move them. So if you're thinking about the possibility of replacing a unit, now's the time to get an evaluation for Total Maintenance. Call my buddy Lucas Ragusa and his great staff, 480-1000, 480-1000.
Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Bet.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
As we get into Combine Week, the rumors flying around in the NFL. Commanders have not quite 100% decided to release Marshawn Lattimore, but it looks like that is more likely to happen than not.
Saints got that one right.
They got that one right for sure. Houston shooting down any possibility of a trade for C.J. Stroud. I don't even know how that one got started. I wouldn't, he was bad in the playoffs, but he was
bad this year.
You're not giving up on a guy who's won 3 playoff games in 3 seasons.
No, I'm not ready to give up on him either. No. But no, he had a bad stretch this year, Charlie.
No, he did. He has regressed. He's gotten worse.
I'm not quite sure if it, just some of that pressure is taking its toll. I'm not sure.
Possibly. First class, second class, no class. When we return at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch lunch, first class.
I want a seat in first class where I was booked and ticketed over a month ago.
Second class.
No man should be subjected to the indignity of being labeled or treated like a second-class citizen.
And no class.
Life had become like school on Sunday. No class.
I'll tell you what then. Why don't you call me sometime when you have no class?
First class, second class, and no class. Brought to you by Supreme Rice. Buy local with Louisiana-based Supreme Rice since 1936.
And we return here at Mike Anderson's, Wesley at Nicholson. Come by and see us for lunch here in the Oyster Bar. We're in the front bar area right next to the Oyster Bar. All right, first class. Pretty easy to give it to USA Hockey, right? We gotta make one more mention of them. 2 golden goals, one for the women, one for the men.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, against Canada, both times. Compelling hockey and the result that you wanted. So that's first class for sure. We spent a lot of time talking about that. I gotta bring this up.
I got a better first class.
Go ahead, because I got one that's a little bit off the
hockey team celebration.
Oh, in Miami last night.
Well, that's all part of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
singing the national anthem.
They're partying in Milan. They're doing that. And like, no, we can't see too much snow. Well, got a detour to Miami. Okay. Yeah. Twist our arm.
Apparently, they're going to be at the State of the Union tonight.
No, they are. They're getting military transportation to the White House today. It's pop. It's good to be an American hockey player.
It
right
was,
now.
And I remember when the '80 team went to the White House. Jimmy Carter was the president. The entire team got together, went to the White House, did that deal, and they said it for years after that. That was the last time that team was together. Those 20 players and the coaching staff, they had reunions where they get almost all of them, but 1 or 2 guys couldn't make it. And then, you've had a couple, Herb Brooks has passed away. That was the last time that group was all together, was at the White House. President Carter welcomed them to the White House. They had the cowboy hats on and the big, heavy coats. It was something to see.
And we don't, not to get too political, Charlie, but we certainly don't have the same relationship, like I mentioned earlier, with Canada that we did with the Soviet Union at the time. Okay, we don't. But it is isolated I am for politics, but this country could kind of need something to all pull for one side.
And they needed it in '82. They really did. And
really? Was that divided?
Well, it was divided different. The American confidence. Carter's speech, crisis of confidence. You were coming, the Iranian hostage situation. The Russians had invaded Afghanistan. Gas prices were through the roof. All of this is in the documentary.
Okay.
So that's why I'm bringing it up. I'm not political either, but yeah, they needed something to feel good about. Okay, and this can be a uniting thing to have some patriotism about this.
Uniting for a week, a day.
Take what you can get. Take what you can get.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Jimmy, I don't know if you remember this place, but for those that weren't in Baton Rouge at the time, it's not going to mean a whole lot to you. But if you were at LSU or you were in Baton Rouge, anytime from the mid '80s through the early 2000s, you might have gone to a little small, hole-in-the-wall, greasy spoon restaurant called the Silver Moon.
Oh, yeah.
And it probably, a quarter of a mile from where we are right now? Mama Seabell Thomas passed away last week. And I just got to tell you, if you went to the Silver Moon, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right down the street?
Just over the railroad tracks here at Brightside at Nicholson. And it was a unique place because Mama did all the cooking herself. Everybody called her Mama Seabell Thomas. And, AC ran the front counter. And in 1989, for $5, you could get a meat and 2 sides. And believe me when I tell, and a glass of tea.
Generous portions.
Generous portion. They invented generous portions over there because this was soul food, whatever you want to call it. This was absolutely delicious home cooking. And Mama
this would have been a must-stop for Mayo.
Yeah, absolutely. He would have loved these red beans. meatloaf, red beans, mashed potatoes, smothered pork chops, smothered chicken.
That was what I used to do, the smothered pork
it was
chops.
so good, man. And they would give you more than you could eat. And the prices were, even when she got into the 90s, had to move over to Chime Street because that building on Brightside was, well, let's just say it wasn't in great shape. It was termites holding hands. But the meals, the camaraderie, and listen, you got everybody in that place. The politicians would come when the legislature was in session, faculty from LSU, and a ton of students. There was more than one semester that we planned our Friday classes around lunch at the Moon.
Nice.
Because you wanted to go take a nap after you ate at that place. She was tremendous in the community. The place was unique, one of a kind, the Silver Moon. And Mama Seabell passed away last week. So our prayers go out to her family. Never forget the Silver. I couldn't wait when my dad came to visit. I was like, Dad, I got to take you to this place, you know. And everybody that came into town, we took them to the Silver Moon. Second class, good with a chance to be great. This is just a chance to get back. Tonight for the Pelicans, DeJounte Murray is going to play for the first time since the end of January last year. It's been over a calendar year that he missed with the torn Achilles. Last year, he only played in 31 games, and he had been relatively healthy through most of his career, averaged 17.5 points, 7.5 assists in the 31 games that he played last year. Look, this obviously is not going to mean anything as far as the Pelicans making any kind of run. Their season long since has been over, and it makes me absolutely sick to my stomach every time we talk about this draft. Daboncha, Boozer, Peterson, if you depending on whatever you want to put them in, Flemings, Acuff. It just makes me absolutely sick. Yeah, it makes me absolutely sick that the Pelicans do not have that lottery pick that would be positioned way up high. But at least at the end of this season, if Murray can come back and play the rest of the way, they'll know what they got. And then they can make some moves accordingly. Max, you've been monitoring Zion. He's actually playing this year. We're at 32 straight games. So Joe Dumars will be able to look at this and see. For years it's been, if they could just get healthy, Okay, they're all healthy. They're still not good, okay? You've got a team that is so severely flawed. Now at least if you can see it with your own two eyes, everybody on the floor, you have to make some serious changes. DeAndre Jordan, who is 38 years old, started on Saturday night against Philadelphia and gave them, at least for one night, something that they have sorely lacked, which is any kind of rim protection at all, any kind of physical presence on the boards at all. That's just one of the things that they need. So I'm glad Murray's coming back. Whether you're going to keep him, whether you're going to trade him, whatever you're going to do, you don't have enough on this roster, and it should be apparent to you. So this is the last of the whenever they come back from injury standpoint. Should be the end of that.
Whenever they come back from injury.
Say that again?
There's 9 teams tanking in the NBA. 5 of them have better records than the Pelicans who are trying.
Yeah, they're that bad. They're that bad. And
where's the owner?
Well, I wish I could tell you that there would be more of a – she's going to tell you that she's changed the GM and she's changed the coach within the last year. And she did.
Yeah, you can't change them every year.
I just the GM that she changed to made a move that I didn't really understand at the time.
No one did.
And it was just it's multiple bad moves inside of a year. I don't know if Borrego is going to be the coach next year. I don't know. If you went and got Mike Malone, just to say, okay, who's been a championship coach before in Denver, how much of a difference could they make until they fix the roster? So this is the last step to get what they have on the roster back on the floor, get a good look at it, and then do something to potentially fix it.
I don't think this coach is I don't think this guy's that weak.
No, Borrego's fine.
No,
and why would Mike Malone, who's going to get other job offers, why would he come to New Orleans?
He wouldn't. I would just use it as an example. No, it's not the coach.
So you're just not going to get much. I think Borrego's fine.
I mean, Pat Riley could come coach this team. I mean, they've got the roster is flawed. Okay, so they'll get it all back tonight.
Pat Riley's statue presentation was pretty cool Sunday.
I didn't see that. They put a statue up.
Yep, because and they were playing in between the Olympics, between their live coverage and their primetime show. So they stuck it right there. They even went from Mike Tirico to another veteran to introduce the pregame staff. Mm-hmm. Guy by the name of Bob Costas.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. So and he kind of just tossed the baton, to the. I forget the guy's name. Who it's like
Ahmed Fareed, I believe.
Yeah, with 3 ex-players or something. But they were on set. But they had a lot of the old Showtime Lakers. A lot of them there for for the halftime presentation of the unveiling of the Pat Riley statue.
He claimed he was going to fine everyone but James Worthy because only he was wearing a tie. Which is a nice joke.
Well, Pat, because he was always, one of the most known sharply dressers.
Cover guy.
He's been very critical, actually, of the coaching staffs in the NBA going away from a suit and tie.
Well, it's just not his era, but that's
they used to all have to wear ties, and the players had to wear ties when they travel too. That's one of my favorite stories with Derek Coleman.
Stern.
Derek Coleman paid all of his fines in advance because he didn't want to wear a tie on the plane. He said, "How many road trips we got? 45. Okay, here's $45,000. I'm not wearing a tie."
I miss the coaches wearing that a little bit. Some still do in college, and I always I'm enjoying those coaching sidelines.
NFL coaches used to wear suits on the sideline. Tom Landry wore a suit all the way to the end of his career. Hank Stram, Vince Lombardi, you go back and look at all those films.
I think the most preposterous thing is baseball managers wearing
uniforms. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. But
you don't think it's a good look on them?
No, I don't. I don't at all.
On this, you got a lot of ammo there. No class. Here's So this morning in Birmingham, Alabama, Charles Bediako
here we go again.
Was once again denied his appeal. You remember Bediako.
The Alabama Supreme Court
sued the NCAA. Well, not quite there yet.
Yes, it did. It did this morning.
No, this is different. This is a circuit judge. That's kind of where I'm going with this. No class, okay? First he sued the NCAA. Then he had the injunction. Then the judge denied the injunction, took it back out. So now he is appealed to the circuit court. Judge Daniel Pruitt, Auburn fan apparently, has denied Bediako's appeal. And now they have a concurrent, am I using the right legal term here, appeal to the Supreme Court. So they tried to get the local judge, the injunction reinstated. That didn't work. They went to circuit court. That's been denied. They're really going to take this thing all the way to the Supreme Court? For a guy who played, professional basketball for 3 years. And look, LSU just got a commitment from a kid in Australia who's been playing professional basketball for 3 years. I get it. Is this what the Alabama Supreme Court needs to be talking about? By my count, 4th or 5th appeal of this guy, Bediako? Can we be done with this at some point? Can we move on to other things than this guy playing any more college basketball?
I'm just saying, but it's okay to play, Israel for
it's not
for 12 years.
I don't think it is, Jimmy. I don't think those guys.
Guess what? One thing that McMahon and his staff did with this assembling this roster, they're like the top 10 in college basketball in age. So we talk about AGE. It's a recipe to success. For college football and basketball.
Well,
they had an old team they couldn't even win.
Right. They went and got this kid yesterday from Australia. His name's Owen Foxwell. It's one of 2 players they got from Australia. He's 22 years old. He's been playing professional basketball there for 3 years. Averaged 11 points, 4 assists a game, and shot 42% from the floor. His younger brother is up at the University of Portland, apparently tearing it up, setting freshman scoring records up there. So I don't know if that's the end game here. But his resume is not quite as good, Foxwell's, as Zipper, who is on the team now, who played 3 years in Israel. Zipper shot for a better percentage. He was 3 inches taller. He was the MVP of some league over there. And Zipper can't get off the bench for this team. So I'm asking you, you get somebody that, and I don't know what the difference is between the Australian league and the Israeli league. I can't tell you one is significantly better or worse than the other. But, no, I don't think that these guys should be able to play 3 years professionally overseas anywhere. And not just LSU, but anywhere. And they come in.
It's not out of the realm of possibility for a judge to rule that if these players are play professional, then this guy's play professional. I get it. So, I mean, it's the biggest thing to me is what it tells you. Oates knows he doesn't have the team.
Yeah, Alabama put out a statement saying we support.
He knows he doesn't have the team, and he talked about it, and he defended, his efforts to try and get Bediako, eligible. Is that man? There's hundreds of former pros all playing college basketball,
right?
And so I went and got one, and so where is it different? So, I mean, whatever. How long are we talking about this story?
Well, they keep appealing.
He's not going to come back, Charlie. He's not going to make it.
Well,
you want to bet on it?
I really don't.
I say he's done.
Hey,
when you got home cooked out of Tuscaloosa, man, it's not going to work.
We're even right now. You got me on Trinidad Chambliss. I got you on Joey Aguilar. So we're even right now.
Oh, Aguilar, I didn't realize he didn't hire Mars, dumbass. I mean, how stupid are you in Tennessee? I mean, what is Mars' record? And you're not going to hire him for your starting quarterback?
It's pretty damn good.
I mean, if you got the guy from Arizona, Levitt from Arizona State, okay, he did visit Knoxville, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're telling you they need a quarterback, right?
Quite badly.
Okay,
yeah.
And so once he leaves, go get Mars. Once he signed with LSU, go get Mars.
No argument.
Golly.
If you're a baseball player and you want an agent, who do you go get? Scott Boras. If you're in this venue, you go get Tom Morse for sure.
Who Skeens have?
Oh, I'm sure he's a Boras guy. Oh no, actually I don't know that for sure. I'm pretty sure Cruz was a Boras guy. I think. Why wouldn't he be a Boras guy?
Actually made
ISE.
Okay.
So
actually made 3 pickups in the lineup, and their rotation is respected as one of the best.
And they got the number 1 player in the entire minor league system, the Connor Griffin, who was committed here, but he is the number 1 prospect in baseball right now.
Oh, he is?
In the minors. So
it's tough for the young guys to. It takes a little while usually, but
Dylan Cruz is with Boras, but Paul Skeens is not.
Skeens isn't. Yeah. First class, second class, no class. Brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com. You know, if you're going out tailgating, you're making some jambalayas, you still got gumbo weather. You can still do that. Red beans or white beans, make it with Supreme Rice. Support our Louisiana farmers. Supreme Rice making their 90-year anniversary here in 2026 down in southwest Louisiana. The brown, the long grain, the medium grain, the jasmine, the parboiled rice, low glycemic rice, perfect for diabetics. Work it into your shopping when you buy rice. Make sure it's Supreme Rice. You can get it at all the AG food stores, all of your Rouses, your Walmarts. You're going to save some money, and you're going to support our Louisiana farmers. Part of the Climate Smart program, reducing methane emissions and promoting water conservation. For more information and great recipes, go to SupremeRice.com. Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, where the invoice showed up today for your boy Mark Pope.
It did?
Yeah, $25,000.
Okay.
Get your money's worth following the loss at Auburn. He wasn't steamed about the tip in, right, Jimmy? He was steamed about the offensive foul call that gave Auburn the ball back. Was the play before that was the one? Right. So he wasn't contesting the tip was in time because it was in plenty of time.
No, that's not. No, that they had that opportunity.
Yeah, issued a public reprimand and fined $25,000 for post-game conduct and comments related to the game against Auburn.
He didn't speak to the media on the stand. It was kind of a hot mic, right?
Stephen Pearl got hot mic'd talking about the officials. I don't know if they fined him.
I think that the way I'm reading this is it was the overall, from the time he left the court to maybe what he said. They're kind of giving you this catch-all conduct and comments related to the officiating. Yeah, I do. This is to Mitch Barnhart. We certainly know that name.
No, the quote from Pope.
Yeah, this is the quote that got him fined.
Right, what is it?
Mitch, if those MFers try to find me.
That's off. That's hot mic.
Screw them, because I did not say a word about how they cheated us.
Right.
Yeah.
That's after the press, that's after he's leaving, the post-game press conference.
Yeah. And so you're responsible for hot mic, right?
Guess you are.
Yeah. Aren't we? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, we're in the business.
Yes.
We're conscious of that. Yeah. I mean,
but he's not in the business. I guess he is, and I don't know.
He's got to understand that if he does that while he's still in that room.
You think that's the only time?
No. No, I don't.
That a losing coach at a tough game didn't say something like that to an administrator.
Absolutely not. Apparently, and I've read this, but I didn't see it, okay? I didn't see him stepping down from the podium. But maybe this is when he feels like, well, if I'm talking off the record now, I'm talking to my athletic director, even though I'm still in the room, I'm given some level of leeway here. I mean, is that what he thought? He had to know if he would have said anything close to that on the mic, he would have gotten fined.
I've been in Rupp Arena for the press availabilities. I have not been in Auburn's arena for the press availabilities, but he was on enemy territory. And I would venture to say that maybe an Auburn reporter did.
He was.
Maybe
I saw the video. Have you seen the video?
I haven't. I never saw the video.
He made a point for all the media to hear him say this.
Okay.
It was a shout. It was not a quiet, private conversation.
Okay. But it was post press conference.
He walked off, and as he's walking off,
the press conference, the press availability was done.
He's not in front of the step and ladder, sort of backdrop, but he's walking off.
That's basically, this is off the record. They have a press conference available. You answer all your.
It was closer to like shouting than it was.
I understand. He wanted them to know. He wanted them to hear it, and that's, I guess. Maybe if it just said it and just the ones nearby could have heard it. Maybe there's some discretion involved, but
if it happened the way Max is describing it, and I believe that it was, he knew he was going to get fined. He kind of did it on purpose. I want you to hear me complaining.
He said it
about it, because when you're the Kentucky coach, and he's no newbie to this. He played basketball there. Is there in the Southeastern Conference, other than maybe the Alabama football coach, is there more of a fishbowl than the Kentucky basketball coach? Where you are
I think you bring up a really good point, man. To get these people, these fans, and these supporters off my rear end, they got to know how I really feel about this. Give me the checkbook.
Right,
here's $25,000. That'll at least. No, we got screwed. And he got some mileage with his fans, and he wanted it known.
Worth what he spent. Right.
So maybe intentional, because you don't raise your voice for everybody to hear if you just are expressing frustration. So he didn't want to do it at the official press conference, but he wanted everybody to hear it. Yeah, he got to pay.
And it's 3 straight losses.
And it's not dirty pool to report that when you raise your voice for everybody to hear. Yeah,
this is not like Bo Pelini where they hid the tape recorder under the chair.
If everybody doesn't hear, it doesn't get reported, and he doesn't. So he's a smart guy. I mean, he's you ever listen to him? I mean, he knew exactly what he was doing.
25,000 is 0.001 of the $22 million price tag for their roster.
Tip money, if you will. You think they take out their frustrations?
How many free
tonight?
Meals does he get? Yeah, coach, you give it to him. I mean, does the fans not like that?
He needs.
They love that kind of stuff.
Needs a little political capital.
Yeah.
You head to South Carolina on Saturday. Kentucky goes in there tonight. Obviously, South Carolina's at the bottom of the league. They get that win against Mississippi State.
Kentucky going to take care of business.
That's
tonight.
what I think too. They may take out some of their frustrations a little bit tonight.
I think they
on South Carolina.
Yep. I think the
3-game losing streak kind of got them a little bit on edge. They're not on the bubble. They're safe.
No. They got a cushion. And look, it's a soft bubble. When you got Missouri in there, they're good. Okay, so but it's it's.
This is more about get yourself back on track.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Don't forget our friends at Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Your homeowners association requires wood windows in your neighborhood. You got to call my friends over at Relief Windows. Don't make the mistake like I did the first time and just with the original construction of my home and not use Relief Windows, because over about 6, 7, 8, 10-year stretch, they will rot with these extreme South Louisiana weather conditions. Relief Windows, again, give them a call. Give them a call at 288-8138, 288-8138, and get those Relief Windows. Again, those specially made windows, those wood windows that are made with gelled wind or last wood, gel wind wood frame windows. They come with a 20-year general warranty and a lifetime limited warranty against rot and termites, providing years of beauty and minimal resistance. They look good, they're functional, and they last. Do like I did and call Relief Windows if your homeowners association requires wood windows.
Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, let's talk to veteran sports handicapper in the New York era, Ace Seminar. Ace, man, all that snow, man, you handling it okay? You shoveling a lot of snow in the driveway, or how you handling it?
I got the use of a son that's got some strong young muscles, and a couple of neighbors that saw that I guess I was kind of struggling. I'll admit it. 2 feet, actually more than that. We had about 30 inches of heavy, ridiculous snow. Came on board with the snow blowers to get those last few feet out of there, and thank God I was able to make it unscathed. Don't want to see another flake.
Hey, you in hockey country, we were drawn to it with the Olympics. It was a lot of fun. I was 13 when Lake Placid, so I remember that distinctly, exactly where I was on a Friday night for the Russian, the Soviet game, and on Sunday afternoon for the Finn game. But still, any takeaways from a really fun watch and a great accomplishment for the U.S. team?
Tremendous game. The goaltender was just absolutely standing on his head. And can you get an even more patriotic speech from Jack Hughes after winning the goal, scoring the biggest goal of his life? Did he heap any praise on himself? It was, I love America. God bless the USA. I love U.S. hockey. I mean, you couldn't have gotten a more patriotic and more humble speech by a guy who literally is going to be known as a god in this country forever. Probably won't have to pay for another meal the rest of his life.
They're having a heck of a run, man. The snowy conditions in the Northeast wasn't bad, where they detoured to have a night out in Miami and then a military transport to the White House today. Heck yeah, man, y'all have fun. You deserve it. They deserve it. That's exactly right. All right, so let's look at the college basketball slate, and we'll start. Let's start on the West Coast first here, if you don't mind. Let's go to USC and UCLA. UCLA with that coast. That's poor man's Tyus Edney. He goes coast to coast for the winner by 1 at the buzzer. So, and UCLA upsets Illinois on Saturday. Now USC. One thing I've noticed, Ace, with USC, it looked like Elijah Arenas was on his way. He'd averaged 26 points over a 3-game stretch. Now in the last 2, he's averaged 11.5. UCLA at home, 6.5-point favorites over the Trojans.
Little nagging injuries there with Arenas. He had that knee injury early in the season, which kept him out for a while. But, yeah, he's got a little nagging injuries that have just taken its toll on him. and just holding them back, putting a lot of pressure now on Chad Baker-Mazera, who also missed a few games, then came back, had some foul trouble against Oregon. And you talk about a choke job against Oregon. They were considered the last team in the tournament. I don't see it right now with the way they're playing. They choked in that game with 1:10 left, a 6-point lead. They gave up the last 7 points to, let's face it, the worst Oregon Duck team we've seen probably in the last 20 years. So for them to have now lost 3 straight games, they're absolutely going in the wrong direction, and they're facing a hot UCLA team. Yeah, that Donovan Dent play reminded me, absolutely took me all the way back to 95. I remember being in Vegas in the sports books, and the sports books erupting when he took that thing coast to coast to beat Missouri in the tournament that year. I mean, they're playing great basketball right now. It seems like Coach Cronin's interviews, kind of ripping his players an ass, certainly grabbed their attention. They beat some good teams early in the season, so they have a couple of good wins. UCLA certainly playing a lot better right now than they have been. I like Donovan Dent. I like a couple of their big guys, Bilodeau. I certainly feel like them right now at home laying 5.5 ascending, while you can see USC is absolutely dropping right now. Give me UCLA. The line may have jumped, but I'll buy that below 6 points, below the 2 3-pointers, and give me UCLA minus the 5.5 to push back the Trojans.
All right, UCLA minus the points in that one. Let's go to the Big 12, and we know about the high-profile injury for Texas Tech and Toppin. They won the game on Saturday. They took care of one of the bottom feeders in the Big 12. They beat Kansas State 100-72. Cincinnati with a high-profile 16-point win. That is with Peterson playing 32 or 34 minutes in that game, and he was in that game for that run where they pulled out a tight game and stretched that lead all the way to 16. Bearcats have won 4 in a row here in Lubbock. Texas Tech is 6.5.
Incredible what they've done, Cincinnati. You figured their season was about done, but again, in the Big 12, with playing a solid team every night, you've got a chance to maybe get yourself back in the conversation, and they did that with that win. Let's not forget earlier in the season they beat Iowa State at home. So you've beaten Iowa State, you've beaten Kansas on the road by 16. They certainly have a couple of impressive wins, a desperate team right now, number 4 defense in the Big 12. And one thing I want to point out about Texas Tech, Christian Anderson's picked up the scoring, no doubt, for Toppin being out, and Donovan Atwell as well last week, 6 3-pointers when they said, as you mentioned, they smashed K-State 100-72, hitting 13 threes. But one thing about Christian Anderson, he leads the Big 12 in turnovers. 3.5 turnovers a game. I was kind of shocked by that, to notice that. But he's just a little carefree with the ball. Cincinnati, with a very tenacious defense, they're going to be dumping the ball in down low without Toppin being there to stop them. Baba Miller, 6'11", big man, 13.9 points a game, 10.2 rebounds. And how about Mustafa Thiam last week? Normally averaging 9 points and like 6 rebounds a game. Career high 28 points last week against Kansas, and they have a front court like you wouldn't believe. I would expect Cincinnati, a desperate team that just got themselves back into the conversation of being in the bubble. Give me a desperate team like that, given 6.5. An old adage I was taught a long time ago in handicapping by one of the first handicappers I ever learned from, Mark Harris, got to be 40 years ago, was always go with the injury the first game, okay, a la Texas Tech, winning by 72, and then go against them the second game, because by then other teams have adjusted, and they're also maybe trying to figure out exactly how to play without him by the second game. Give me that 6.5 points and a desperate Cincinnati Bearcat team. I'll take the dog in that game.
Yeah, I share that opinion or that approach as far as it's okay to take the wounded team short term, but long term, no. We can see a Kansas beat an Arizona, short term, but long term, I think they need their most talented player. I disagree with Joe Lunardi. Lunardi does not have Cincinnati on his bubble. They're 51 now, NET. We know that 40 range is consideration. We know how much the selection committee leans on that the NET used to be RPI. When Bill Self, He certainly gave them an endorsement, said he thinks they're an NCAA tournament team. Another one gets you into 40s. No, you are in the conversation. They got a lot of losses. They're 15-12 right now, but as you said, Ace, plenty of chances in the Big 12 for quality wins. This would certainly be a Q1 win. Missouri and Tennessee, this line is jumping around a little bit. Tennessee on the heels of an emotional win. Their in-state rival on the road in Nashville, where they traditionally struggle, but they took away a hard-fought win on the road in Nashville. Missouri, they are on Lenardi's last four in, even with a net of 60 right now. Tennessee on the road here, 2.5 or 3.5, depending where you shop.
Yeah, it's through that line as well at 3.5. You know, Tennessee, a huge win last week on the road, going to Vandy, one of those grinded-out half-court style games that they're very adept at playing. That's, you know, Rick Barnes' style of coaching. What worries me with them is the free throws, which has been a bugaboo of him since he was coach of Texas and other teams way back when. They've always been terrible free throw shooting teams. In a game like this, again, as you mentioned, Missouri on the bubble, but impressive wins beating Florida earlier this year, beating Kentucky, beating Vanderbilt. They have enough quality wins to, yes, right now be on the right side of the bubble. I don't think they can relax. They certainly need a couple of more wins. Tough loss at Arkansas last week by 8. They were in the game until late. But they're going to need a little bit more, you know, out of their backcourt. You know, Mark Mitchell, leading scorer, 17 points. He brings it every game. Jaden Stone's been a solid scorer. Trent Pierce, who was hurt earlier and now has come back, this is the guy that's been really playing well for them. 65 points in their last 4 games. They bring in that third scorer, that's going to be a huge, huge addition to them and a huge, huge bonus for them to at least get a chance to cover this game. You know the raucous crowd at home getting the 3.5. Give me Missouri, another dog right there in that game, a desperate team on the bubble that wants to work their way onto the right side of the bubble. I think Coach Gates is going to have them ready and primed for a big matchup tonight. I expect a big game out of their leading scorer, Mitchell, and their backcourt, Stone. And as we mentioned, Pierce out there hitting three-pointers from all over the place. I would love to have everybody on board, Jimmy. I'm offering a text service, 631-805-6165. All you got to do is text the words free picks to 631-805-6165. You'll receive my top-rated daily free picks every day. No questions asked, no hassles. Give you a way to get to be a part of my service. Get my free picks. I'm in my office early every single day, crunching numbers, looking for the best options out there for people. Hopefully building up your bankroll as we got Selection Sunday less than 3 weeks away. Just a great time of the year right now. You got a lot of opportunities with some, conference games coming up right now where teams are going to be deciding whether they can get into the tournament or not, improve their seeding for their conference tournaments. Just a great time of the year. You certainly don't want to be unprepared going into Selection Sunday. So call me at 631-805-6165. Text the word free picks. You'll receive my free picks and start building up your bankroll because the tournament's going to be here before you know it.
Yes, indeed. And speaking of the tournament, live that Thursday and Friday, the first 2 days of the tournament, we will be live from the DraftKings Sportsbook at the brand new Bally's Casino downtown. Charlie and I ain't leaving, so we're gonna be hunkering down. We got reserved rooms at the new hotel. They do have some space available, so come on and join us for, again, our live coverage for March Madness this year from the brand new DraftKings Sportsbook at the new Bally's Casino downtown in Baton Rouge. Ace, again, one more time. Text him free picks to get on his text service, 631-805-6165. Ace, we appreciate it, my man. Good luck to you tonight.
Thanks, Jimmy. Best of luck to you, too.
All right. That's Ace Simonera, veteran sports handicapper from the New York area. Do you ever shovel snow, Charlie?
Yes.
You have?
But not for very long. Not for very long.
I would have had the under. I would have lost. I would have had a 0, though. But
is that not terribly long ago, actually? Was it
right?
last year or the year before we had that big snows? Last year. Yeah. It was mostly so that the dogs could go outside.
We just passed up that anniversary a couple of weeks ago, Max. Yeah. What was the exact date? Was our snow day?
I've got so many pictures.
I know. I
find it very easily.
Late January, I think.
It was January.
Yeah. I made a little path for the dogs to be able to go outside after
Don't forget our friends at K&M Automotive on Segan Lane. It's the only place I take my vehicle. I was over there last week during the Mardi Gras week for an oil change, and Jason Payne and his staff always busy. So if you come in and they're too busy just off the street, that engine light comes on, you're not sure what's going on, there's some rattling in your car, something's not right with it, you bring it in, and if he's too busy at that time, he's going to evaluate your situation and then schedule you to come back at a more convenient time for him and for you. So go by and see him 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, 8445 Segan Lane, just off of Perkins, and easy from all over areas. You can even take that Piku exit like I took yesterday, Charlie. Save my little time coming home from Chris's Specialty Foods yesterday. But anyway, K&M Automotive right across Ambrosia Bakery from Segan Lane, 8445 Segan Lane, just off of Perkins.
Took that PQ exit myself day after it opened. I'm a fan.
Yes,
I'm a big fan. Hey, got on the guys when it took forever to pave Nicholson Drive. You get that exit right. Big fan.
January 20th.
21st.
21st. Okay.
Yeah.
3 touchdowns. It's an easy way to remember.
Little over it. Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we also remind you we're brought to you by the Thibodaux Store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux.
It's about that time.
Highway 70 in Pierreport, the Pierreport
Spring
Store.
is coming, Charlie.
Open in LaRose and Lockport. Big deals on channel lock gear right now on the website, thethibodauxstore.com. But what are you, since I don't see you needing a vice grip or a tripod or some of the other things that Channel Lock's got, does for other people. But what are you going down there for?
Vice grips.
Snow shovels.
Snow shovels.
They probably got snow shovels.
I'm going to get some stuff, man.
You're going to get
I'm
some
getting
stuff?
ready to put. I think we're in the clear for our freezes, at least for 2 weeks. I'll take my chance. I'm about to prune everything, Jack. Get some pressure washing over the weekend. Well, Thomas Odom did, but anyway, I got some help. But I mean, just getting on. And I'm about to hit that boil, Charlie.
Yeah.
About to do my own. Yes, indeed. Just need somebody to carry the pot to the drain. But I mean, I'm about to knock it out.
If I don't have to prune and I don't have to pressure wash, I'll carry the pot. How's that?
Oh, I don't know if Max can carry that pot. I'm not
I've
sure.
carried that pot before.
It's
a two-man job.
It is a two-man job.
It's a big crawfish pot. The Thibodaux Store again.
They got all that too. All sizes, all to boil, any type of boil. Yeah.
All 4 properties can be accessed at thethibodauxstore.com. They are arriving. Actually, started arriving yesterday, but more GMs and coaches at the Combine in Indianapolis.
ESPN Live there.
Yeah, all week. Drills start on Thursday for defensive linemen and linebackers, and then continue all the way through Sunday. The quarterbacks work on Saturday, so we'll see. I understand that Ty Simpson is going to throw at the Combine. We'll see what Garrett Nussmeier does, but we're monitoring that big contingent of LSU people up there, and we'll see if we'll see
Ty
what
Simpson made a mistake, man.
You think?
Yeah, just go to Miami, get you 6-7 million play, get your reps. Aren't reps kind of important to preparing you for the NFL?
Well, he didn't even have to. It's not like he had to leave Alabama. They weren't going.
Well, you don't think they were nudging him? I'm not sure either way. I'm not ruling it out, though. I am not ruling it out.
I think Kellen Moore knows that every single game is
Kellen
magnified.
Moore.
Kellen Moore. I'm sorry.
Kellen care about
every game is magnified.
That to me,
Simpson gives him the best chance to win. I think he would have started there had he gone back. Moot point now. Thanks to everybody for participating.
Kellen DeBoer got the ice cream truck.
Kalen DeBoer. I'm sorry. Tomorrow we're at Finbaum right down the street. Everybody have a great afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.